What are altcoins? In today's video, we're going to talk all about what altcoins are, basically, just basic overview of altcoins, and why they might be a fantastic opportunity for investing. So altcoins, basically what they are, they're every other project that exists outside of Bitcoin. So you have Bitcoin, and then you have altcoins. So they're kind of categorized in an entire group separate than Bitcoin because Bitcoin is its own animal. Bitcoin came on the scene 2008, seemingly out of thin air, just out of the blue, created by an anonymous person, Satoshi Nakamoto. People can speculate who that is, but that person has never been revealed and probably never will be. Because he knew what he was doing that was enormous for the world. He knew that what Bitcoin was going to disrupt technology as far as we know it, especially as it relates to communicating with finances. Okay, so once he opened that up, he opened that Pandora's box up, everybody in this cryptographic community took notice. And one thing that I love about the blockchain space is that most of what is created is left open source. Different than today, where every time somebody comes up with something new, it's all proprietary. Right? They have patents for the technology, they have patents for the way that these features might execute in their business. So Bitcoin in the blockchain space leaves a lot of its work open source, especially these altcoins. In fact, if I'm investing in a company, a blockchain company, then I want to make sure that that project is revealing its code for open source, as open source. Because it means to me that they have nothing to hide and that they are participating in this truly decentralized revolution that is changing the world for the better. So Bitcoin was left open source. And they have what's called this UTXO model, Bitcoin. It's unspent transaction model, which is a whole hour-long conversation in itself. And that UTXO model, okay, was open for everybody to understand and study, and that's exactly what they did. And if you can imagine that Bitcoin created a layer of technology that you can add to. So you can add layers to this blockchain technology. So you can extend the UTXO model with different layers, such as smart contracts that you might have heard of, NFTs, other ways of governance and treasury designs can all be layered into the open source code of just traditional blockchain technology, UTXO, that Bitcoin pioneered. Okay, so you have now a spawning of all of these other projects underneath of it. There's probably like 20,000, more and more are happening every day. There are exchanges, decentralized exchanges that are forming. There are gaming protocols. There are artificial intelligence protocols. There are mobile telecommunication protocols. There are wallet protocols, so how you store your cryptocurrencies. And the list goes on and on. There are meme coins, okay? There are money lending coins. There are lots of accounting, sort of ledger-based companies that are forming in a blockchain way. So all these altcoins are forming and coming up with their own little twist on how they can take advantage of the integrity, the sound quality of Bitcoin's proving of blockchain technology. Okay, so how I look at that is that there is fantastic opportunity to invest in some of these altcoins that are beginning, that are in their infancy, that could rise up and have a larger valuation, a larger market cap as the adoption of cryptocurrencies form. Yes, you could put money in Bitcoin right now and make money, Okay, but the time to really invest in Bitcoin was back in like 2010, 2012, right? 2013, 14, that bull run. Okay, you could have made money for sure in 2016, 2017 bull run, and you can absolutely, totally make money now. I mean, there's people that say that Bitcoin could go to $1 million. As we sit here today, it's like $17,000 a Bitcoin. Some people that are like smart, right, that are just like pulling up valuations off the top of their head that have done a lot of research and they understand economics, believe that Bitcoin will go to $1 million a Bitcoin. Some people, it could be 10 million a Bitcoin. It depends on how much this technology swarms humanity. The way that we were supposed to invest if you were listening to a podcast or you're listening to people or the news, is that you were going to take 90% of what you're investing and put it in Bitcoin. And maybe take 5% of what you're investing, put it in Ethereum, and then take 5% and diversify in other altcoins. So that's what I did. And after a year went by, I said, well, maybe it's best to do 75% Bitcoin, okay? Like 20% Ethereum, and then 5% altcoins. And I understand that because the space is so new, especially 5 years ago back, and every year it gets more and more robust. But back then, you didn't know what these coins were going to do. There's a lot of rug pulls, which are just designed for you to get hyped up and invest in it, and then they kind of pull the rug out from underneath you and you lose your money. Okay, so it was safe to say 75% Bitcoin, 20% Ethereum, 5% altcoins, and you can vary that. You might do 60%, 15% here. So you can change it around, but that was the best practice. That's what I did for a long time until I recognized the power of altcoins. I will say that what I did was I started to look back in history. In Bitcoin's lifespan, you can go to tradingview.com and check out certain charts that have the longest history, that show the longest history. I think it goes back to 2010, 11 era, where you can see the previous bull markets of like 2014, 2017, and where we were in kind of like resting to go into the next one, 2020. So it gave me perspective. I studied what happened in 2014. I looked at Bitcoin being 25 cents. I looked at it being $2, $200, $1,000, and then back down. So it has these massive rises and these 80%, 90% drops. So I understood a little bit more about how cycles existed in the first place. And then what I did was I calculated what it would be like if I had invested exactly the amount of money I put in at this point, just a couple $1,000s that had accumulated to over a year to put in. What if I had a couple $1,000s into Bitcoin and I went through that bull cycle? How much would I have made? So I started to kind of get excited, like, wow, this will be great. This is a sound investment. This is helping me out with my current time of 2018, 2019 to get ready to think that maybe Bitcoin will crest its previous all-time high of $20,000 and maybe go to $100,000. It only went to like 65, but it still had this cycle. So back then I thought, wow, there was an opportunity here. And then what I did, I said, well, with the thought of these altcoins as being an opportunity that are younger in their lifespan than Bitcoin. So Bitcoin being this first generation cryptocurrency, Ethereum being the second generation cryptocurrency, Cardano being the third generation cryptocurrency. Okay, so at the time of my investing, I was investing in Bitcoin and then Ethereum, and then Ethereum's native tokens are called ERC20 tokens, like Tron, like Chainlink. They were in their infancy also, and I thought, wow, let me see what it would be like if I just invested more heavily, maybe 40% Bitcoin and 40% Ethereum, and then 20% of these other projects. And I started to have a light bulb go off in my mind that was like, wow, you are going to make a lot more growth if you would have done it that way. Now, this isn't financial advice. Personally, I have no Bitcoin, okay? I don't invest in Bitcoin. I used to. I had Bitcoin. I understand Bitcoin. But I see the opportunity more in altcoins. What I also love about altcoins is the benefit that you get from being in a project that is actually doing wonderful things in the world. That's a really big plus for me. Now, Bitcoin, you invest in Bitcoin, it's good. It's just not doing that much to like help this aspect of the world. And there's no real way to participate in Bitcoin's ecosystem to where it gives you tremendous advantages as far as staking rewards, yield farming rewards, governance, voting participation that then gives you more rewards. So some of these altcoins have triple, quadruple, even 5 times yield, okay? That's pretty crazy to have quadruple yield from your investment is something unheard of. You know, we barely get any interest on the bank that when we have our money stored. You put your money in a wallet over here, and then you can delegate that wallet to participate in this protocol's design. There are ways where you can yield farm. So you're harvesting all these different kinds of rewards. So whether it's a gaming protocol, so I'm involved in some gaming, it's wonderful. They have NFTs that drop, and you participate, you delegate your wallet, you get airdropped NFTs that you can use, that have utility. You could sell them in the open marketplace for more of your cryptocurrency, that you can trade for other cryptocurrency. Okay, DEXs, decentralized exchanges, are a huge phenomenon. And you can take some of your holdings, you can provide the liquidity in their DEX and reap the benefit off the transaction fees while you're staking. So the opportunities are tremendous. And if you can find out the coins, the projects, the altcoins that are doing good things in the world, are not just trying to, you know, like be the best at being the blockchain, where they're just like egotistically, greedily trying to be number one, you'll find that there's projects down below that are like really concerned about helping different aspects of the world. I put together a theory and said, well, what if some crazy situation occurs where I don't invest in Bitcoin and I just invest in some of these altcoins, and the valuation increases were tremendously different. Right? So this isn't financial advice, this isn't what you should do. I'm telling you what my story is of how I started to get to understand the power of altcoins, which is the reason for this video, right? Bitcoin's a sound investment. And I think that you are wise to have Bitcoin in your portfolio if you believe in the project. You know, if you believe Bitcoin is never going away, then how can it be a bad investment for you? Okay, so I started to understand and that altcoins could be powerful in my own portfolio, so I started to switch the ratio around. And it led me to do my forensic analysis, my little mini audits on some of these other altcoins, these projects. Cardano being one of the greatest that passed, it checked marked all of my fears and my risk averse mentality. Right? The project, what is it doing? Is it good for the environment? Is it good for the earth? Right? Who is the team? Who's the owner? Who started it? All of these things that I wanted to feel good and rest good about, Cardano started to really check the list off, my bucket list. Charles Hoskinson, number one. He was fantastic. He has AMAs. The guy, search his AMA, Charles Hoskinson. He brings himself out into the open and has these 2-hour-long or more conversations where he kind of briefs you on what's going on with the project, and then you can ask him anything, and people do. They ask him all kinds of stuff, and they attack him, and they do everything, and he sits there and he fields these questions like amazing, and he sounds okay. You know, he's like he's legit. In my mind, he sounded okay. So I was like, okay, Charles Hoskinson's great. Now what are they doing? What's their roadmap? And they come to find out they're doing all this fantastic stuff in Africa. Like, it didn't dawn on me. I guess I kind of knew, but it didn't really dawn on me that Africa has a problem with like banking. Many people don't have banks. They don't have banks over there in Africa like we do. It's extremely corrupt, and there's no way. I mean, you have a bank account, you live with a bank account, mostly. Imagine not having a bank account or the access to have a bank account, right? The money there is all squirmy and weird, right? The valuations are this and that. So banking the unbanked was something that Charles Hoskinson started to speak about in some of these AMAs that I learned in the beginning. I said, what is banking the unbanked? Like, aren't we all banked? No, we're not. And it's a tragedy, it's a shame, and Cardano is seeking to fix it. They have a dedicated team over in Africa where they are doing tremendous work, like they're never gonna leave Africa because they believe in this mission so much, not to mention all these other missions that they have. Africa is just one of them. So it made a little bit more sense to me to invest myself in a project that is doing great things for the world, other than sitting in Bitcoin and just hoping that I would make more money. A lot of these programs, like World Mobile Token is another one. It actually is based in Africa, but they're trying to give Wi-Fi to everybody. And the World Mobile Token is also a Cardano native asset. Cardano native asset. So just like Ethereum has these ERC20 tokens, Cardano has native assets on their blockchain. So when I started to recognize that there were these third generation cryptocurrencies and there are fourth generation ones coming up now that were revolutionizing and adding to the layer of the UTXO model, okay, that Bitcoin invented. Cardano's, actually it's called the EUTXO, the extended UTXO model. Where I said before, they can layer in smart contracts to these transactions and send multiple transactions and multiple signatures, multiple smart contracts. Okay, so developers who are creating their projects, like let's say they're creating a game, let's say they're creating a gaming solution, or they're creating a social media app, okay, or some money lending app, or a decentralized exchange. They aren't trying to solve the really difficult process of running a network, right, where there's time and a massive amount of security and work done to it. They're just trying to make some fantastic gaming app. So they want to build their app on a blockchain that they feel comfortable with. So these developers that are thinking about building a game, thinking about building any kind of application, they're choosing Cardano more and more. Like I already said, the ERC20 tokens over here for Ethereum, because Ethereum was first to market, right? They have a lot of ERC20 tokens that are doing just that. They're building their application on Ethereum's blockchain because Ethereum and Cardano are kind of doing the same thing. So a lot of these other companies, you can see, they don't want to tackle that problem. And it's like a kind of a beautiful relationship that like a blockchain that like Cardano or Ethereum has with some of these ERC20 tokens or Cardano native assets. Like Chainlink over here just wants to do a certain thing. Cornucopias over here is a gaming app on Cardano. They just want to build their gaming app. Cardano can't focus on building a gaming app because they have to keep the network strong. So Ethereum has to keep their network running for all these projects. So because Cardano or Ethereum don't have to worry, they don't have the time to focus on building a game, and the game can't focus on building the network, it's a beautiful relationship. So not only am I looking for altcoins that are trying to do something big like this, I'm also looking for the ones that are building big that application developers want to build on top of. So you'll find if you look at the Cardano native assets or the ERC20 tokens of Ethereum, okay, you'll see that there are lots of projects that are in their infancy that if you do the calculations and when you speculate, it might be more advantageous to diversify your portfolio in some of these ecosystems. Cody is another fantastic example. Cody is fantastic because it's also building its own layer 1 and building a lot of these other assets on its own chain, you know, giving the opportunity for a lot of these other apps to build on their chain. Okay, so this is a lot. It's a lot of information, but we're just trying to keep it simple. And as these videos come through, more and more and more things will make sense, because we'll just keep talking about it until it makes sense to you. And that's what happened with me. The more I listened and learned and allowed myself to watch a video that I had no idea what the guy was talking about, now I can sort of understand it. It's kind of like a language, right? Like a baby, you just learn through osmosis. And over time, you start to speak the language, you start to say the words, you take your first steps. And because we're investing and trading and learning all at once, it could feel like a tremendous amount of effort. But that's okay. That's why Crypto Fluency is here, because I want to cut through all that for you. I want to help you accelerate, because the time will soon be past where the opportunity is its most fruitful and most abundant, which is right now. There will always be opportunities, but if it takes you 5 years like it did me, you could be missing opportunities. So I want to help accelerate your education, your knowledge, your understanding, so that you can get clear, you can get confident in your own way and invest in any of these. Bitcoin, right? There are solutions on Bitcoin. There are things that work with Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, Cody, okay, Solana, Algorand, Polkadot. There's a lot of them, okay? So it's not, this channel isn't about like invest in this, right? It's about understand what it is you're even investing in. Most people think all these altcoins are like the same thing. They don't get the difference between what these altcoins are doing, what they're building on. They think a blockchain is a blockchain is a blockchain. So I'm excited. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to talk about this. I'm excited to talk about all these different features in these videos. And I'm excited to see you on the website, cryptofluency.com. We have some courses there on how you can get started in investing and in trading. And we'll see you soon on the next video. Cheers.